You can make a difference. You can give hope to.
Welcome to another episode of One on One. My name is David Staal, and I've got a special guest with me here today. It's Chrisje Stam, and she is a program director. She actually leads a Kids Hope USA program. And the reason I asked her to join us in the studio today is that I wanted all of us to hear straight from a director's heart what it's like to be a director and other words of wisdom that I know Chrisje has for us today. So Chrisje, thanks for being with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Now, first question I just have to ask you, and that is, why did you agree to be a Kids Hope USA program director at your church?
That's a great question. It was all in my heart. You know, God really just said, this is what you're supposed to do. And I don't really think I had a whole lot to say about it. I had been a mentor for about a year, and I loved it. And then our director stepped down, and I didn't want the program to end. I really felt like this is an amazing program. And it just seemed like God prepared me. Everything that I've done throughout my life, throughout my professional degree, with all of that, it just said, this is where you're supposed to be. And so I applied for the job, and I got it, and it's been an amazing fit.
That's great. Now, I know that from a mentor's perspective, you probably had some idea of what a program director does and what that job is like, and now you've been in it for a while. Have those expectations changed? Were your expectations realistic? Have you learned anything along the way that was a surprise?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, go ahead, share it with us.
When I first started, I guess I didn't really know what to expect. I just kind of assumed that I would go from being a mentor to doing the whole program. And then I learned that there's a lot more involved. And I remember going to director training, and I remember sitting there looking at all the details and thinking, Lord, why me? I don't know if I can do this. And then I remember just stepping back and just sitting down and praying, and God just washing me over with calm and just saying, this is where I have you, and I've got your back, and just let me lead, and you do what you do what you're supposed to do. And once I took that pressure off, it was an amazing change for that to happen, because then I was able to really help to run the program. Not only was I able to see it from the mentor's point of view, but I was also able to look at it from the director's point of view, so I could help my new mentors, or I could help breathe some life into mentors who had been doing it for years and years.
Okay, now share with us for a moment, what do mentors do in your program that you absolutely love, other than meeting with kids, because we all love that, but what do mentors do as far as interaction with you that you absolutely love?
I have one sweet lady. She's been a mentor for years and years, and she's such an encourager to me. She will send me little notes. She put something in my mailbox once just saying thank you, and that just meant the world to me. I try very hard to do that to my mentors. Like, I love to send them encouraging notes or little gifts, whatever, every month if I can even. But to have her come back to me and do that, it just meant the world to me, because it really helped. Because sometimes you just don't know if you're making a difference, or you don't know that you're out there. And so to have her do that meant the world to me.
And I'll bet you're pretty close with that mentor now too, then, aren't you? Yeah. And so really what I'm hearing is, hey, mentors, pay attention to how your director is expressing love and appreciation to you, and maybe do the same back with them.
Absolutely, especially if you eat a lot of chocolate.
Yeah, there we go. That always helps, doesn't it? Yeah. Now, okay, so that's something that mentors do that you love. What's a thing or two that mentors do that you don't necessarily love?
Probably not filling out the forms, because then I don't know what's going on with them. Communication is so important, and if I don't know how to help them, how to support them, or what they're doing, then I don't feel like I can do my job right. So it's really important for them to fill those out. So when they don't do that, sometimes it can be a little frustrating.
Yeah, so actually, directors read those forms, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see, I think that's a key point for all of us to understand as mentors, that when you're filling out that daily progress report, directors really are reading that, and they really want to know, like you said, you want to know what's going on. And how does knowing what's going on help you?
It helps me know, number one, how I can pray for them. It also helps me know how I can encourage them, or if they need help, like if they need a new game to play, or if something's going on with their student that they could use either, again, prayer or something physically tangible from me to do. But if they don't communicate with me, there's nothing that I can do.
So Chrisje, tell us, what is your largest challenge as a director?
I'd have to say probably recruiting. There's so many needy kids out there, and to make sure that we have a mentor and a prayer partner for each of those. Recruiting just seems to be something that it's not just a one-shot deal. It's constant throughout the year, getting more people to help these kids.
And as far as recruiting, is it a matter of getting people's attention, getting time in front of your church? When you talk about recruiting and the challenges, what are some of the aspects of that challenge specifically that are, kind of tough?
I think it's just getting the commitment from people in the congregation to do it. I don't think anybody doubts that it's an amazing program. I don't think anybody doubts that they could help touch a child's life. I just think it's for them, it's the time commitment. Like, can I actually do this? I remember sitting through services years ago. I'd see it come across the screen. We need a Kids Hope, a mentor or a prayer partner. And I remember thinking, yeah, that's a great thing. Somebody else could probably do that.
Yeah.
And I just remember that kept happening year after year. And finally, when my son was old enough and he went to school and I had the capacity to do it, it was a God who just nudged my heart and said, it's time. And then I went in and I did it. And so that's one of the things I just want to be real sensitive to is, whose time is it? Who's God nudging? And both waiting for that to happen, but also helping to encourage that nudge to be listened to a little bit more.
Right. Well, and it's quite a burden that you probably feel as far as you see the need and hear about the need from the school as far as all the kids that they have, and you feel the burden as far as, I've got to find more mentors, or if somebody steps out of service, I've got to replace a mentor. So that's a burden that's very real that's on your shoulders, isn't it?
It is, Dave. And last year, I remember when I started the year, it was my second year starting, and I remember having that almost to the, I was so anxious, like, how can I do this? How can I do this? And I remember we had a prayer walk at church, and so we walked around the school. And I remember someone, I don't know if it was our pastor or if it was another prayer partner, just put their arms on me and just prayed for me. And I remember thinking at that point, I could just feel the burden being lifted, and I just said, at that point it was so clear to me that this is not about me, and this is not about any particular person. This is about God, and this is about what He can do. And if we just give it to Him, then He'll pave a way.
Well, I'm really picking up in our conversation how this is really a spiritual task for you. It's not yours to own, but it's actually yours that you're part of. Is that,
That's it in a nutshell. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And, and it's great to hear about directors who feel that way, because you're right, God is the one that provides the mentors. He's the one that really nudges their hearts. So it's kind of fun to watch that, but kind of frustrating too, I would imagine at times. So now, when you think of your program and there's all sorts of activity going on, have you had a story or two that's come up that you draw strength from, or it encourages your heart? And I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot with that one, but tell us a story about something that's happened in your program.
All right, it's a funny story. I like to make you laugh. Okay, so last year in the spring, in the Zeeland Public Schools, we have what's called Mileage Club. So that is just during the lunchtime where the kids get to go out and run laps. So I had a mentor. She'd come right from work. She's wearing a dress, and so she came in and she was sitting down having lunch with her little girl, who was a second grader. And the little girl finished her food and said, "Okay, it's time to go run." And the mentor looked at her and said, "What are you talking about?" So the little girl explained what it was and said, "Do you want to run with me? Will you run with me?" The mentor said, "You bet." So she got up there, she had her flats on, she had her dress on, and she ran a mile. And so that's one of my favorite stories to say is, my mentors are fabulous because they go the extra mile with the kids.
That is a good story. So I wonder what that young girl said when she went home that night, as far as, she ran in a dress.
But what a great model for her, is to know that someone loved her enough to say, "I don't care what I'm wearing, I'm just going to go do it."
Right. Chrisje, share with us, because you've been a director for a couple of years now, share with us a couple of ideas maybe that come to mind as far as how you've found to make your job a little easier.
Being organized helps. If I know what's going on, if I have a good calendar, and if I have all of my mentors right in my computer so I can quickly get a hold of them, that helps a lot. I think if I wasn't organized, I think it would be very difficult to do that. So that helps a lot.
Right.
And it also helps just to stay focused on what you're doing this for. Again, like we talked about earlier, it's for the kids, and it's to help them make a difference. It's not about me, it's not about job, it's not about anything but those kids.
And if you were asked by, let's say, another church has their director move away, and they say, Chrisje, we have some people who maybe are interested in being a director. Could you come and share with them some words of encouragement as far as why they should be a director? What would you say to some people who are thinking about being a director?
I'd say just hold on, because you're in for the ride of your life. I mean, it's not a job. It's a ministry. It's a passion. It's a way to make a difference, and your life will be changed from the inside out.
There we go. Yeah, and boy, it's very obvious that your life has been changed by this experience and that you love doing it. For the past couple months, Kids Hope USA has been running a themed campaign of Hope is ... And we're asking people to complete the sentence, Hope is. So I'm going to put you on the spot right now, Chrisje, and just say, please complete the sentence, Hope is ... What would you say?
Hope is a chance. Hope is a chance.
Explain that a little bit. What goes through your mind on that?
I'm just thinking that we hope for these kids to have a chance in life. And so by giving them a chance, whether it's by having somebody sit down next to them and help them with a math problem, whether it's by giving them a chance to be loved, whether it's by giving them a chance to be listened to, that's what hope is. Hope is giving these kids a chance.
Wow. Chrisje, well said as far as hope is a chance. And it's a great reminder for all of us that at the schools, there are kids who show up every day and they're wondering what's going to happen. And they have dreams, they have aspirations, but they've been, running out of chances for things to happen well in their lives until somebody shows up, a mentor who's supported by a prayer partner. And so hope is definitely a chance for life change to happen in a little life. And you know what? We all know that when you change a life, it's no small change. Thanks for being here, Chrisje.